Well, it's time to talk Euro, and of course, the man that we get to pick his brains is none other than Adriano, who probably is a bit querying why the fact Australia don't get to play in the Euros, but of course he's moved back to Milan now. So, Adriano, great to have you on board, and we've been talking about that. We'll have a look at the next group in a moment, but what we want to talk to you about is the venues, because you've been saying to me for some time, it's interesting, it's fascinating, because you are at Wembley in some matches. We spoke about Belgium having to play away. So some interesting fixtures. We've got those and venues. Take us through your thinking on Euro 2020.
It's certainly a very exciting and intriguing tournament with the fact that we will see so many cities host different group stage fixtures and into the latter stages of the competition. There are a couple of very unfortunate countries, Belgium certainly being one, as we discussed last week, but with a lot of travel thrown in, it is going to be interesting to see how the respective nations logistically organise themselves. There is certainly the interesting one would be Group A with Turkey, Italy, Wales and Switzerland, of course, which will be played in Rome and Baku. So plenty of travel there, particularly for Turkey, Wales and Switzerland. Italy's certainly favoured to go through in that group. But look, it will be a fascinating tournament. I think we will see a few surprise results with obviously so many host cities in that group stage, and just how much of an advantage will it be to have your group stage fixtures at home, and well, will it work against that nation going into the round of 16 or quarterfinals and finally needing to travel? So many permutations, so many interesting matches to come. It really will be one of the most intriguing European championships to date.
You know, I'm thinking if in time to come the African Cup of Nations goes this route, I mean, you could be into a really fascinating situation if this works, because you could be playing some qualifying groups matches in far north as Egypt, far south as South Africa, Madagascar, Mauritius. I mean, it is an interesting concept. It certainly brings in travel, but in terms of being inclusive and including the entire continent, I think it's a great idea.
I do. Look, I think we've seen, particularly in World Cups to come as well, with the expansion and obviously the European Championships having recently expanded as well, it's never easy for a single country to host such a significant tournament, whether it be an African Cup of Nations, European Championships, or in the case of a World Cup, which of course in 26 is expected to have 48 countries. So I do like this approach. It will be interesting to see how it does play out, but obviously, from the players' perspective, more travel, more fixtures, it's just more of an overload of work. So we obviously don't want any players, let alone the star players, going into the following European season or domestic season injured or underdone. But that will be obviously the debate from the other side of the spectrum. But it will be great to see so many different countries being able to host matches in this tournament. The other side of things, what does that do for the atmosphere? Because, of course, if you've worked at World Cups or attended World Cups or European Championships or African Cup of Nations, the atmosphere when all 32 or 16 nations are in that one country, it really is something special. In this case, of course, it will be spread out. So, look, I think this is a bit of trial and error for UEFA Euro 2020, the 60th anniversary. Let's see how it plays out, but I am certain there will be many surprise results given the home advantage to so many different nations.
Okay, yeah, it's interesting. It is a bit of a test. And you talk about anniversaries. It's our 50th show, by the way, Adriano. I think you've been in on the majority of them. So happy 50th birthday for EuroConnect to you too.
Happy birthday to all.
There we go. Now, we're running out of time, so I want to move on to talk about Serie A and tonight's fixture, of course. We've got AC Milan. I must say there were signs of improvement from them last week. I watched the game. No doubt there was a step forward. It's been long overdue, but it was good to see.
Was very good to see for Milan. I was at that match last weekend, Milan-Udinese, and they won 3-2. They weren't super convincing consistently, but with Zlatan Ibrahimovic up top, they look a different side, playing with confidence, winnable matches to come, including this evening against Brescia. And look, I really feel that a European place is there for the taking if they can start to put some results together.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about Balotelli. You know that Balotelli story? He had that shirt, didn't he? Why me? Well, it was a case of why me last week because he saw red. So he's never that far away from drama. We're just looking at the log, by the way, before you answer that question. Milan as low as 8th. but a chance for them to get some points away from home tonight. And if they continue to improvement, they will do. Let's quickly check the bottom, because you'll see their opponents, Brescia, who are at home tonight, but they're languishing at the wrong end of the table. There's a real bum fight down there. The good news for Brescia is that there's a lot of other teams struggling around them. If they were to bag 3 points tonight, they'll do themselves a huge favour, because they'll go up into 17th place. But your expectations for tonight then, Adriano?
Well, look, Brescia, obviously, with a win, will get themselves out of the relegation zone, as you said. Milan just 2 points away from the European places. As I said, a serious objective for them now, and I do feel with some winnable games to come, they will be in the top 6 very, very shortly. No Balotelli, as you correctly said. A red card last week, 2-match ban. He was fined some money as well. So, look, we discussed Euro 2020 earlier. If he can put a strong 6 months together, he may be on the plane for Italy. There are still many here who believe he has a role to play in some capacity with Mancini's Italy, but focusing on tonight, I'm certain Milan will come away with a narrow win, but they'll get the 3 points and get themselves back into European contention.
Inter, their opposition this weekend, they recently met them, I think, in Coppa Italia and won 4-1. Business as usual, they'll do it again, won't they?
Well, look, Cagliari have been the surprise team this season. Although winless in their last 6 in Serie A, they still are 6th in the league. So they have been playing some good football over the course of the campaign. But I certainly feel Antonio Conte and his men will want to respond from that disappointing draw last week to Lecce in a match which could feature a few new faces. Of course, Ashley Young, Victor Moses confirming their moves midweek. Christian Eriksen's not too far away as well. So Inter simply must win. I think they will win. They'll get the 3 points and just keep the pressure on Juventus ever so slightly.
Yeah, these are the guys that are arriving. I must say, I've always been a Victor Moses fan. I think he has a lot to offer. I think he could actually really be influential in this team, and he's capable. So they are spending, and they are bringing in new names and faces, and that might not be the end of the additions.
No, absolutely. Christian Eriksen, as I said, still one who could join. I think Moses is a wonderful signing, played really well under Conte at Chelsea, and think we'll see him bring out the best in Moses yet again. He was obviously on loan from Chelsea in Turkey, makes the move now to Inter Milan, and once they add Eriksen to the ranks there, they will have that depth that they so desperately needed, particularly in the Champions League at the back end of 2019.
I've been speaking all week, actually, about this match that we're going to talk about now, the Rome Derby, and you've taken the words out of my mouth. This is the biggest derby in Rome for many, many years, because Rome are going great, Lazio going great, Lazio going for a record 12th straight league win, but it won't be easy against Roma in Roma.
Of course, and I'm very excited to say I will be at this match covering this one. I cannot wait. The Derby della Capitale, many say the most fierce rivalry, not only in Italian football, but world football. And this, I'll go as far as saying, is the biggest Roman derby for the best part of a decade. Two sides playing exceptionally well. I'll give you a tip of Roma 3, Lazio 2.
OK, there we go. Adriano, who's normally pretty deadly on these, I must tell you. Thank you very much. Always a pleasure chatting to you. Thank you for helping us with Euro 2020 as well. We'll see you soon.
Looking forward to it. Thank you.
There we go. Adriano sharing with us our 50th birthday celebrations. This is the 50th show of Euro Connect. We thank Adriano for his take on Serie A. Stay tuned, because after the break, we give you the lowdown on LA La Liga.
That is quite something.